Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we decided to do a show called In the Comments. And basically, it's answering all the comments or trying to answer the comments that are more like questions or statements that may need clarification or something like that. We like to say, everybody who said, they're happy to see us back and made dua for us in the channel, that we say Ameen, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make that a reality for us. And we also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you. And we ask you to continually support this effort, because it's a unique effort. Like, you really have to be on the ground to have an accurate opinion about what's going on in the Muslim world. It's hard to just listen to videos and audios and whatever news and stuff like that and have an accurate opinion about the Muslim world and what it's like to live in the Muslim world. Of course, the Muslim world is not perfect. We know that. And neither is the Western world. It's not perfect either. So this dunya is not perfect, because human beings are not perfect. So anyway, with that introduction, I want to get into some of the comments that were left on the channel that may need an answer. Some of them are questions and some of them are statements, and we want to address them. Another thing about it is that it's difficult for us to respond inside the comment unless there's something simple. It's difficult to go back and forth because some people may put something there and it needs a response, and then it just ends up being going back and forth, and that's not really beneficial. I think this way would probably be the most beneficial way, so that you get at least a semi-detailed answer to your question or comment. If you have a response to that, that's fine too, because we're trying here not to be, it's not about confrontation and debate and argumentation. It's not about that. It's just, look, this is my opinion. That's your opinion. And I don't, again, speak on behalf of everybody that's supporting Make Hijrah, nor do they represent what I think. It's simply my opinion. And these opinions, more than likely, are not religious opinions. These opinions are just life opinions and advice based on experience. So it shouldn't be any type of back and forth about this Sheikh said that or whatever. That's not what we're doing here. If a person does not want to make Hijrah, then great. It's up to you. That's your choice, and hopefully your choice is based on something, and likewise for a person that wants to make Hijrah, we're just here to help you look at the Muslim world in a different way. The West markets itself very well to where you have people that have a very positive opinion about the Western world, yet they haven't been there or haven't stepped foot in the country, which means that how did they get the perception that they have about the Western world other than watching movies? People that have gone and come back and seen one little aspect of it, people that haven't really lived there or grown up there and had to be a part of the society, so they haven't dealt with those people. And I can give a few examples, and I'm gonna give a few examples, and then we can move on, inshallah, into the comments. The first example I would like to give is a brother we met in Tanzania, and his infatuation with somehow getting over to the West and having a better life. Now, a lot of people think in terms of economic prosperity. Like, they can go there, they can get work, they can send money back, they can build a house, they can do this. So this person, his family owned land. And this land was rich with mangoes and fruits and. So I was looking at the land and I'm saying, you know what we can do with this land? If somebody wanted to come and build some homes and start a little community, it was a vast amount of land. And he looked at the land like it was nothing. Like he didn't care about it at all. And he would give up all of it just to go to America for a few years. That was his position. Like, this land is worthless. But to me, I'm like, you know what I could do with this land? You know? So his perception was off. So then we start talking about like some details. Like, did you know about racism in America? Did you know about that? He didn't know about it. He never heard of it. So I started showing him photos. I'm talking about stuff from the 60s. People getting hosed down, dogs being sicked on people, people being lynched in trees, people being burnt alive. All this happened in America. All this happened in America not too long ago. And he didn't know. The only thing he knows is what he saw on a movie, what he heard in a song. This is what he knew. So not only that, this is another point that's important to mention. During 9/11, after 9/11, in Cairo, you have book fairs every year. There's a big book fair where you can buy all type of Islamic books. It's a lot of different book publishers there. There's Islamic books, non-Islamic books, you know, educational books, all type of books there. It's a huge fair. So America had a booth, or the American embassy had a booth at the book fair. And they were passing out, giving out this free, colorful pamphlet. And in the pamphlet, you had Muslims in America in the grass, throwing their kids up in the air, all this imagery to show that America is not against Muslims. And they had to do that because of what was happening in Iraq. And at that time, I can't remember where else, Afghanistan, these things happening there, where they had to say, wait, hold up. Don't think that we have a problem with you. Like, we have a problem with them, where that's that them and us mentality. That's them, and this is us type of mentality that they were pushing. So they said the Muslims in America are, you know, throwing their kids up in the air and wearing a hijab everywhere they go and doing whatever they do. So this was a form of marketing. The same way recently, they had the Harlem Globetrotters. If you ever heard of the Harlem Globetrotters, they had them come to one of these small venues in 6 October, Giza area. And it was free. Everybody can come and just, you know. And then they, at the same time, while they had this event, they also passed out literature. They give you a free bag. And in the bag is a book about Muhammad Ali. In the bag is a book about this, to show that, you know, we're not against y'all. Like, we good. Like, us, me and you, we good. So don't hate us because of what we're doing to other people. And of course, recently, what is that? That's what's happening in Philistine. So all that to say what? America markets itself very well. So why aren't we marketing ourselves very well? Why is it that the average Muslim may think that this place or that place is backwards? People are in the streets starving or what have you. And the Muslim world is painted as this place where if you go, a bomb might blow up or whatever the case is. So this is a lack of marketing on our part as Muslims to say, wait a minute, it's not like that. This is how it actually is. And as a matter of fact, you can have a better life here than you have there. But they tricked you to believe that over here, people are running away. And that could be the case. That could be the case where people would rather go to the West. But guess why? Because the West marketed themselves that way. This is what they know about the West, is the movie they saw. This is what they know about the West. It's that song they used to listen to. But they don't know what's happening, what's the underbelly, and what's really going on there. And that, to me, deserves a platform as well. Like, this is what's actually happening. So know what you're getting yourself into. And likewise, in the Muslim world, you'll find areas that are are poverty stricken, and then you find areas that are advanced and comparable or better than some Western places. I've talked too much. Let's get to these comments. So people, look, for the viewers that like to interact in the comments, this is how we'll be going into the future, answering and addressing some comments. If it's something that could be addressed in a sentence or a phrase or something like that, then we'll do it. We'll make it, inshallah, we'll answer directly there. Otherwise, stay tuned to this particular show where you can get your comments addressed. So let's go. The first comment, and this is in reference to our first podcast clip. It says, "Welcome back, brothers. What you're saying is the truth. I remember seeing on Brother Hakikachu's channel, he was interviewing a Syrian refugee who came to Sweden, who was telling about how Sweden is taking our children away from Muslim immigrants for no legitimate reason, and how the children are suffering in foster care, addiction, abuse, etc. He said he even sent his wife and children back to Syria while he sorted out a better place to live, because even though there is war and other things happening there, at least he doesn't have to worry about his kids being forcibly taken away from him." Okay, so this is not a question, this is a statement. And I'll add to that. There have been cases where friends of mine have had what we call in America social services. I'm not sure what it's called in other places, but in America it's called social services. And basically, if someone sees or thinks that you are abusing your children, and that can be any way, that you're yelling at them or screaming at them, or anything that you as a parent might do, they can call social services, and social services will come to your home and check your home and see how you're living and see if further action needs to be taken. And in some cases, I've known brothers who have gotten their children taken away from them. They're not refugees. They're not Syrian refugees or anything like that. That's an American citizen born there, and not even coming from an immigrant family, just, a person that's been there for generations. And they come to the house if someone calls and they want to make a check, and they believe that the environment is not safe for the child, they'll come and they'll take your children, and they'll put your children in foster care. And you can do your own research about foster care in America in particular, but I can't say it's across the board because I don't know across the board, but putting your child in a foreign environment, meaning a situation that they're not used to. Whereas, let's say you have an Islamic environment in your home, and then you take them out and put them in some foreign environment where they listening to music or have these type of activities. It's not uncommon because foster care in America, people get paid to have foster children. And I know examples personally that I've seen where the young girls get molested. This is not uncommon. It's not like something, oh, that's a one-off. It's not a one-off. It happens a lot. They get mistreated. A lot of them are only in it for the money. I'm not saying everyone, so let's just be clear. But the chance that your child can be taken from you and placed in a foreign home, and then you have to fight to try to get access to your children, that idea doesn't resonate well with me. So let me tell you another case. And that is, even, by the way, it happened to me, but not, my children didn't get taken away. It was, we were having children, I guess, to them too rapidly. And at that time, we only had 3 children. So to them, it's like, okay, well, now we got to come in and see what the living conditions are. Why are you choosing us for that? That would be the question. Like, why is it my family that you want to go and check and see if the conditions are appropriate for the children or not? Why is it my children? Why not that one's children or that one's? But for me, what gave you the indication that they may be in bad circumstances? But anyway, they send somebody over to check and talk to you and see. And this happened. It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. This happened to several brothers, and everybody knows about it. So, yeah, I can see they would rather send their children back. And according to this comment, right? They would rather send their children back to Syria and say, okay, y'all stay there until I straighten things out over here. I understand that. I can see that. But for me, it's like a motivation to get out of there, because Your child can say, they can go to school and say, my father is forcing me to wear hijab. My father is forcing me to pray. And if I don't pray, he gets very angry and abusive. And because of that reason, they can send someone over to check your home and see what you're doing. So what are you doing that's wrong, actually? Telling your sister, telling your daughter to wear hijab, telling your sons to pray, or to both of them to pray, or what have you, and they personally don't like it, and they can go and they can tell on you, and then somebody can come with authority over you to take your children out of your home. That's real. So anybody can deny who deny, but that's real. I know it for a fact. Like, you don't have to tell me. Like, even this comment wasn't a surprise to me. I know about that. And he's talking about Sweden. I'm talking about America. So let me tell you something about the Muslim world. The Muslim world, your children are your children. Now I'm not going to speak on every country, but I can say particularly in Egypt, for example, nobody's going to come to your house and say, let me see where the children sleeping. They don't do that. Your family is your family. You're responsible for them. The only time that you may get intervention is if you're doing something criminal to your children. You're breaking their arms or doing stuff like that. Maybe, yeah, then at some point somebody has to intervene to protect the children. But regular, making them pray in this, they don't even look at that. It's not something to look at, forcing them to memorize Quran or do this or do that. Wear hijab, nobody has nothing to say about that. So, and I know that for a fact, by the way. That's not me guessing or me thinking. No, I know that. I know that for an absolute fact. So that's an advantage of being in the Muslim world as opposed to the non-Muslim world, and changing your strategy. Okay, look, we're refugees. This is some type of emergency situation where you need to get out of the country because of harm. So the question then becomes, well, why don't I go to another Muslim country? That's an option. And I've seen that as well. I've seen that Syrians, especially Syrians, Iraqis, and more, Somalis, come to Egypt, for example, and set up. And you'd be surprised how prosperous the Syrians, especially. You can go to a souk or a market and find a majority of stores belong to the Syrians. These are people fleeing from war, and they come to a place and they set up shop. They don't think like, oh, the wealth is only in America or it's only in Canada. No, they come and set up shop in an amazing way. One day, inshallah, I'll show you. One day, inshallah, I'll go down and I'll show you all the shops in the souk, and you'll be amazed. And it's not just any mama and papa. These are big shops, big, well-done shops that the Syrians own. And I'm sure that the way that they do it, they come together. And this is what's missing, especially with the Americans in particular, coming together, pooling resources, and establishing these restaurants and these grocery stores, and even in some cases servicing their own people first. So that's that. So that's what that question. I say, look, this is not uncommon. I've heard of it years and years ago up until now. I know brothers with those personal experiences, and even I had a similar personal experience. Okay, this question, it's from Criterion Recitation 8960. And it reads, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It says, welcome back, brothers. You have been dearly missed. Alhamdulillah, you all are back. May Allah preserve you all. Ameen. I was really enjoying the UAE series and podcast too. I have aspirations to make Hijrah to Abu Dhabi for work specifically, so definitely we'll be keeping an eye out for podcasts and info regarding UAE, particularly Abu Dhabi, especially. Hayakum Allah. So we had a series on the last channel about UAE, a detailed series, and it's still available for it's still there. Our brother Muawiyah Tucker, may Allah preserve him, he put it together. He went in detail. He went there. He did the research. So at some point we want to go ahead and put that back on the channel. So that's something, inshallah ta'ala, to look forward to. Also, we want to create new content about UAE. And because these countries are now opening up more, like there are more opportunities for people to go. A lot of people have this idea that you can't stay in these countries and it's very difficult and all that. That's all changing. That was true at one point, but that's all changing now. Like even Saudi Arabia is opening up to where you can just go. Mashallah, tabarakallah. I just went to Saudi Arabia a month ago, and you just jump. Especially if you have an American passport, or each country has to look at and see what the rules and regulations are for that particular country. But speaking specifically about Americans, you can hop a plane, go to Saudi Arabia, and get a visa right on arrival. And the visa is a year visa, and every 90 days you have to leave the country and you can come right back. So that never was the case. That's a new thing. And not only that, they have a 10-year business visa. Alhamdulillah, we have a show coming out talking in detail about this visa in Saudi Arabia. But it's not just Saudi Arabia. It's Malaysia. It's Qatar. It's Oman. It's a big interest in Oman these days. It's in of course UAE. So all of them have their own plan. Even Turkey is developing a digital nomad visa. So so inshallah, to stick to this comment, yes, inshallah ta'ala, we plan on making available the old UAE detail series, inshallah, as well as a new series about UAE, like on the ground in UAE, inshallah. The next question is from Peace Forever 244. Allahumma barak lakum. I hope you will upload the playlists you had about the Muslim countries. Someone made Hijrah already: Morocco, Kuwait, Malaysia, Indonesia, and so on. There's a lot of useful information I still need to hear. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. From Bosnia. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sure. By the way, some of our videos, about 200 and so some odd videos, are available on makehijra.com. And then the rest of those videos have been lost due to technical problems, like our computers and the way we were storing the videos and all that. We ended up losing. That was our fault. It was too much of a reliance on YouTube, which was of course a mistake. But yeah, inshallah, we do plan to do that. Talk to people that are in Morocco and Kuwait, Malaysia, Indonesia, inshallah. We covered some of these before. We covered Kuwait, Malaysia, of course, Indonesia, Morocco somewhat. Yeah, we did do someone in Morocco. So inshallah ta'ala, in coming in the future, inshallah, expect to see some more detailed information. And also for people who want to support the channel and help us to make more content and better quality content and more detailed content, because it requires, it's not like these things are not like just some, random things. Like you need people to kind of plan them out, like for it to be as informative as possible, but not only just information, but you also have to make that information interesting. You have to, try to cut out any repetition and, any blabble and all that. It has to be planned out, and that requires a team. So as we go forward, anyone who's interested in helping us to create this content, we have a website called fund.makehijra.com, And feel free to, if you have a $10 or $5 or $20 or something, go ahead, do it. Why not? And consider it as something, sharing in the reward of what we're trying to do. Because definitely helping someone to make Hijrah. Hijrah is life-changing. And I've seen it. Hijrah is life-changing. You have to understand that. Like, it turns you into a different person because you're living within a different society. And we're not even talking about being extra super religious. That's not what it means. It means that you're in a society where those ills are not being pushed upon you. Those things that are maybe your weakness, weak spots and stuff is taken away. Like you can't, in an extreme example, be a fentanyl addict and expect to come to Cairo and find the fentanyl right there. It doesn't work like that. It's not to say that certain things don't exist. They exist, but it's more difficult to find it. It's not mainstream. It's not people making songs about doing drugs and having women and stuff like that. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised that the moral standard is very high in the Muslim world. It's not to say you can't find it. If you find what you're looking for. But when it's there and you're not looking for it, that's a problem. I personally believe that when you are giving information and that information is not what we call taffy, which is like worthless, stupid information or things that don't keep the status quo going. That we're not here talking about this rapper and that and the gossip and this movie star and whatever. And then you're not partaking in the wars. There are civil wars, if you want to say, amongst Muslims, amongst this group, that group, that we don't partake in that, and it's not productive to be put on, in my personal opinion, to be put on a public forum and make my whole existence about this one said that and that one said that. Again, this is Omar's opinion. This, everybody has their view and we can agree, we could disagree. And someone say, no, you have to point out falsehood, etc. I said, yeah, but I like to point out falsehood to you. I like to go to you and talk about the falsehood. I'll call you on the phone and talk about it and talk to you in a more diplomatic way. Because I should think that maybe you got it wrong. Maybe it wasn't right. I don't need to get on here and start talking about it. And another way to do it is to talk about the concept and the idea itself and to bring a knowledge-based argument based on that. But as far as pointing this one out and that one is this and that one is that, without talking to them, that we weren't cut from that cloth. I heard somebody talking behind my back. Guess what I go do? I go talk to him. I say, man, I heard you was talking about me. I'm right here. I can go see you, but this is a different type of world where we can get on there, type on our keyboards and say whatever, but you won't come to me in my face and say nothing. So that's weak to me. But again, no disrespect to the brothers that think or believe that this is how you put the hawk and promote the hawk and take away the batil and all that. Okay, fine. But me personally, like if I misunderstood what you said, I'm gonna call you and clarify it. I'm gonna try to get your number. I can go talk to you in private, and it's quite possible that you might come off of that idea yourself. You might come and be like, I was wrong about such and such. Maybe that's I see that as the way. So what's that have to do with this? We don't do that. Like, we stick to our lane. What's my lane? What is the thing that I know about? I know about living in a Muslim world. As an American, born and raised in America, generational American, accepted Islam, and then left America to live in the Muslim world. This is what I know about. I can talk about it. We don't talk about issues pertaining to knowledge or disagreements, khilaf amongst people. We don't do that because that's not what we are. So I think that played a role in the deletion of the channel. Like, these guys are giving information. You can take this information and you can run with it. You can do something with it. And you have to understand something, and I'll keep it as simple as possible, that you going to another country and living there is not necessarily in the interest, especially if you're talking about Muslim countries, especially if you're talking about people that deem you to be a potential threat or call you terrorists and call you this, that, and the other. This is what they call many of the Muslims that don't accept their way of life and how they do things. Like, oh, you with that. So if you go over there, you live for 20, you come back here, you could do something. See, so you have to understand that promoting that can get you in trouble. Promoting that can put you in the sights as a potential threat. So this is how we see it. So why are we back? So if that's the case, then what you doing back? The reality is our message is what it is. We're talking about moving to a better place, a better environment. This is our message. So they can block it, but we can do things as contingency plans. And this is what we do now. Like, okay, fine. You want to block it? No problem. We just move over to this platform. But you need to build awareness on a mainstream platform so that you can pull people from the mainstream platform over to a less like a lower level platform or a platform that's not as advanced. And I'm sure people will come if they want to learn about this subject. There you go. Go there. Go to our website. We built a website for this purpose as well. And there's videos, there are articles, there are photos, whatever that we try to resources. So for this site to become better, it needs people to interact. And on the website, you can create your own forums. You can, and you can share those out. So you have people with different experiences and different perspectives, and it's fine. No problem with that, because in the reality, when we're talking about this subject, it's more detailed than the ruling. The ruling is one thing. Then the practicality is another thing. How can I do it? I think it's wajib alayya. Okay, it's wajib on you. So what? Now what? How do I do it? How do I do I need a passport? Some people don't know even about passports, or they've never been out the country, but they feel that, or they believe that it's obligatory for them. Okay, if it's obligatory for you to leave, it's also obligatory for you to learn how or what to do. So that's that. So, and I know I went off on a tangent, but again, like this issue of us being deleted, it was poor preparation. It's having like a idea that we're harmless, but we're only harmless to ourselves. We're not harmless to other people who see us as a threat. So, and again, I'm not trying to paint that picture. Other people have different opinions. Could have been some community guidelines or something like that, but we just basically had an email that said, you went against our guidelines. We're deleting your channel. You did it too many times, blah, blah, blah. So when we went to follow up, nothing. Crickets. We don't hear nothing. We don't know what's going on. What happened? What community guideline? Could you take down the video that went against the community guideline? Can you, what's going on here? Then even we went as far as to try to get legal help. Like, can we get our channel back? What's going on here? So that's us, our naivety, and thinking that, that we're harmless and all that. But no, to some people, no, we're not harmless. You showing people how to get out of here, got this, and look, this is the last thing I'll say about this. We live in a situation where you'll find in Muslim countries that regardless of their political situations, some situations were made that way to control the situation, but you're controlling people, and people have ideas. So what does that mean? It means that the people, you can be the leader of a country and say, you know what, today we're going to be Christian, and he's not going to last long. He's not going to last long, because that's not what the people are about. You're not going to force us to be Christian. That's not happening. Unless it's a foreign army that's coming in and forcing people to convert and all that, and they have to, because it's happened. It's happened before. But mainly in these type of situations, like people not going for that. You just have to know that. In many countries, they're not going for that. They have to go in line. It has to walk in line with us. And then we're going to, these little groups and stuff will control those. But the main people in the Muslim countries, they're Muslim. So they want something go in line with that.